join us at Your Own University. Like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. You're not going to want to miss a bit of this. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Lisha Antique. I'm the founder of Your Own University, and this is a collaboration company where I get to bring in my amazing, incredible, talented, passionate friends and colleagues and peers like Lynn right here beside me to teach about their genius, their topics. So we are definitely a learning school. If you're new to Your Own University, I want to welcome you and know that Lynn's class, along with all of our previous classes the last couple years, are in our departments within Your Own University. So you just log in and you go to their classroom. So Lynn's classroom is in our business and money department because we're talking about podcasts today. So podcasting made simple. I met Lynn 5, 6 years ago. I don't know. It's been a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a while. And I have watched her open up multiple podcast companies and stations and mentor some of the greatest people in podcasts. And she has a huge podcasting group on, or huge to me at least, on on Facebook. And she's done some really great podcasts herself, all of which I have gotten the pleasure of listening to. And she's collaborated with some really funny and incredible people and talked about some pretty risque and serious things online. So yeah. I'm really excited to have her here today. I've actually been asking her to join us for a couple years, and she finally said yes. And so, yay! Lynn, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to hand you the floor. I'm your virtual assistant. You guys, if you have any questions, type them into the chat box. If you need to get a hold of me, if you have any technical things, type them in there too, and I will handle them from the back. All right. Let me get off screen here and you can introduce yourself.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was so excited thinking about this morning because this is my favorite thing to talk about ever. And I was thinking this morning, I was thinking, wow, it's April 30th will be 12 years that I've been doing this. And it has flown by, and boy, has it changed. And I started it. There was no courses. There were nobody I knew had a podcast. I didn't know anything about it. So I had no one to help me launch. And so I learned along the way. And I did it to launch a business of mine. So I used the podcast to promote a business I had, and now it's become my business. So my name is Lynn Brunette. I'm the co-founder of an online internet radio station called Sound Machine. You can check us out at soundmachine.fm. We play music 24/7, some classic rock, indie music, all kinds of things. And then in between, we syndicate podcasts. So this is my third station. I've had some others that I've run and been partners with. So this one just recently launched, actually, in January of this year. So in that, I consult with podcasters, and as well, our company also does full production, editing, distribution of podcasts. So my focus is basically, or mostly, on business people that want to launch a podcast to help their business. And my other big thing that I run on is it's got to be simple. It's got to be fun, because if you're not having fun, you're not going to do it. So that's the way I operate all the time. Now, I've seen courses that are like 80 hours of video to help you launch your podcast. That overwhelms me. So I can imagine how it may overwhelm people who are thinking about launching and just don't. I've talked to people that it took them 3 years to finally launch a podcast. I don't want that to happen. It doesn't have to happen. It doesn't have to be complicated. So I'm going to break it down and make it simple. I hope you have pen and paper. I'm going to go over the basics to help you launch. Now, just know that I'm just hitting on the basics. I could go much more in depth on all of these, but what I'm going to share with you today will be enough for you to start. This is what I want people to do. If you have been thinking about it, there's a reason. And if you keep thinking about it, you have to at least try it. I'm all for people trying it. I've had clients that they try it. I recommend go at least 6 months to give you an idea of whether it is something that you want to do. So I'm going to go over these different things. If you have questions, please type them in the chat. And I will answer them at the end of my little section, if that works. And again, just please know, I could go more in depth on each of these, but I want to keep it, I don't want to overwhelm you with information, and it's sort of not necessary. We go in baby steps. I want you to get to launch. From there, then you can grow and you build upon that. So I want to give you a foundation to go with. And I guarantee that you're going to leave this being able to launch that. Okay. So let's start. There's two parts to launching. There's the technical part of the things that you need to know, and then the non-technical part. Okay. So which one should I start with? Okay, let's start with the tech part. This is the part, and this is where my company comes in. And what we do is business owners either don't understand the tech, don't want to understand the tech, don't have time for it, right? So they will outsource to us. They record their show, they hand it over to us. We take care of everything, editing, distribution, some show notes, things like that. So, but if you want, you need to at least know how to record that, right? So we're going to start with online hosting. So this is something that you can go check out, do a little research on, because I'm going to give you a few options. So you need an online hosting site for your audio. You need a place where you can upload your audio MP3 files that then will have an RSS feed. You're probably going, I don't know what the hell that is. That is an RSS feed is what Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, all these distribution sites need to pull your podcast from your hosting site to be able to put on their sites for streaming. Okay, so you need an online hosting site to upload your audio to. So I'll give you a few examples so you can go check them out. Now, there are lots of them, and I'm not saying, it's really a personal choice as to why you pick. They're all good. They all basically provide the same thing, but it's a personal choice. User friendly. Does it have the odd little things that you like? Do you like the look of it? Things like that. So I will share the ones that I've experienced with and that I like. Now, as someone who has clients, so I work with several podcasts. Right now, I'm using a hosting site that I love. It's only $16 a month. You have as many podcasts as you want, and it's called Captivate. And they're at captivate.fm. They're a beautiful site. They're very user-friendly. You can have more than one podcast if you like. I like the look of the player. So the player that where you hit the play button, it'll have the show graphic on it. You can click on it for links. I like Captivate because it has everything. It has links if you want people to sign up to your programs. It has a link for show notes. It has a link to subscribe. I like the look of the player. It's really nice. That's one of the reasons. The other reason that I haven't seen, and there may be because there's a lot of hosting sites, is after a few months, included in your package, you're hosting with them, is they can create a media kit for you. Now, a media kit is something that you may want down the line to use to get ads, to have ads or sponsors for your podcast, or people that want more information. I'm not going to go into a lot of what a media kit is, but it's a very useful tool if you're a podcaster. So Captivate offers that. They all are basically offering transcription service now. So that's a good thing for some people if they want to take their episode and use it as a blog post. Maybe they have, maybe, for people that are hearing impaired, right? They can't listen to your podcast, but they'd like to read it. Maybe some people just prefer to read it, right? It's good for content on your website to use that. So most of them do provide that transcription service. The other thing I like about Captivate as an online hosting platform is that you can assign team members. So you can allow them to do certain things without having full access to your account. So for instance, with my clients, I give them access to their analytics so they can see how their show is doing without having full access to my account and everything. So they can set up their own username and password, and they can go look at their stats anytime that they want to, right? So that's another thing that I like. I don't see that too often. So that's one platform you can go check out. Okay, you choose what you like. You go look and see, and you choose which you like. Another popular one that I've used in the past. Now, this one allows for live interaction. So like doing a Facebook Live where people can comment and you can read the comments. You can engage live if you want. You don't have to. You can record it and just upload it. It's a really good, it's been around for a long time. It's called Spreaker, Spreaker, Spreaker.com. Sort of social media like, because you can follow other shows as well. You can set up a really nice page. You can record live. It gives you recording software that you download onto your laptop, desktop, or your phone even. And it gives you little sound bites like applause and things like that. And it's a really good platform. I've used it in the past. I think it's like, it starts at like $12 a month or something. They know their stuff. They're always expanding. There is a chance for you to opt in to monetize, so earn a little bit of money. So what that means is they're going to place some ads either at the beginning or in the middle or the end of your podcast. So if you're good with that, I know some people that make a little bit of money. It is an option to do that. So you can check them out, Spreaker.com. The third one I'm going to recommend, I have no experience with them, but I know other people that work there and other podcasters use them, and they have been around a long time, and that's Libsyn. That's Libsyn, Libsyn.com. They just recently acquired this other company, so they're always expanding. They're a very good company. So these are ones that I trust. Check them out. I'm not sure the cost of Libsyn. I think they might start at $12 as well. So go check those out, see what you like. So there's your first bit of homework. Go and look and see which hosting platform, sign up, get your account going. You can try that out. So that's the first thing. You're going to need a hosting platform. Now, the next thing is you're going to need some cover art, right? So the little thumbnails that you see when you're looking through all the directories of the different shows, you're going to need that. Now, there are specifications. Apple is strict. Apple is God right now in podcasting world, much to my chagrin. I'm not a fan. But that's where a lot of people listen. That's where a lot of people go to find new podcasts. And so and usually if you're on Apple, then you're on all the other smaller directories. So they have specifications on your cover art. The biggest one being the size, and that is 1400 by 1400 pixels. So I know Canva has a template. If you go in there, they will have a template for that. So you can use that to design. You'll know that it's done properly. Now, I will give a little bit of info on, like, advice on this. Don't make it look busy. Make sure don't put a lot on it, because you got to remember it's going to shrink down to that small thumbnail, and you need to make it visible to people. You want them to be able to get an idea of what is on there, right? So don't make it busy. Have the title, have your name. Don't have too many fonts. Keep it simple. Something that's eye-catching. You can always go have a look through directories. Just pop onto Apple and go look at the thumbnails and see what pops out to you. What What grabs your eye? What grabs your attention? Have a look at whether you can read them or not, right? So I'll give you a little bit of an idea when you go to design. Now you could hire somebody, maybe if you're a business owner and there is a graphic designer you deal with, you can have them design something for you. Make sure they do it within the specifications. And that's about it. I mean, I could go a little bit more on that. Again, I could go more on all of these, but that's the basics. 1400 by 1400 pixels. Don't get too busy. When you design it, of course, it's going to be big on your screen. You're going to think, hey, yeah, that looks great. Shrink it down. Remember, it's a thumbnail everywhere, right? Okay, so next thing. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about intro and outro. Lots of different ones, lots of different opinions on intros and outros. What I suggest, what I've seen, what I know out there and doing this for a long time, a lot of people will skip past an intro. They're just not going to listen. People want to get to the meat. They want to get to the good stuff. This is why they're listening. They're busy. They want to get to it. They don't want to sit and listen, especially at episode 126, and they've listened to that intro. They're not listening to that intro. So I know there's some people that spend a lot of money getting an intro designed and voiceover and music and everything. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. What do I suggest? You need 15 seconds of good music that represents you and your show. Same for the outro. We don't need it long. People don't want to sit through it. They want to get to it. Now, what I do recommend, though, probably for the first little bit, you can create your own. We're going to talk about music in a minute. You can do your own voiceover, just sort of introducing yourself, the name of the show, a tagline. I would recommend a bit of a tagline, especially if you have a title that may be not totally clear, but it's a really catchy title. A tagline is always good to clarify that, right? So you can do a voiceover yourself with music in the background, make it really short. Say, use that for the first, I don't know, 8 episodes. And then after that, switch to a really shortened version, just 10 to 15 seconds of music, just enough that it can brand your podcast. And then for your outro as well. Mostly when people know the show is done, it's done. They're not going to listen to if you've designed an outro that has, please visit my website at, they've already clicked off. So please don't spend a lot of money on these fancy intros and outros. If you want to, go ahead. It's not wrong. It makes it simpler because I'm all about simple. Remember, I said that in the beginning. It's got to be simple. And if you've never done this, I've seen people that invest hundreds of dollars to launch and then 2 months later, they're like, this isn't for me. They've spent all that money. Don't do that. Like, you don't need to do that because listeners, it doesn't matter to them. So please, 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 you really don't need to spend that money. If you want to, go right ahead. It's not, nothing against it. So music, where do you get music from? For Mac users, GarageBand does have music loops. I know some podcasters, they're just fine with that. They found some music loops that they like. They use that. That's enough. Because that's not why people are listening to you, right? That's really my point again, is they're not listening to you because, wow, like Lisha has like the best intro ever. Like, you should listen to her podcast because her intro is the best, right? No, don't do it. So Mac users, you can do that. If you don't like any of those, then you can go get music at Audio Jungle. I think it's audiojungle.net. Go in there. It is royalty free. You will have to buy it, but it's not expensive. But at least copyright is huge. You don't want to get in trouble. You don't want to get fined. You don't want to get your podcast taken off the directories. So you got to make sure, like, you can't be using a clip from your favorite, dance song. That's really bad. Don't do it. So go to audiojungle.net, buy a piece of music you like. You can always edit a little bit out of it if you want, a little clip that will work for your intro and outro. They don't have to be the same. It can be two separate clips of music. And the third is, if you have a musician friend, maybe they'd like to compose a little something for you, and then you can give them credits, and then it helps promote them as well, right? So those are a few options for you. Now, was there something else I was going to say? No, I think that's it on that. Yeah, so just keep it simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is recording. So I see a lot of people that will go and buy like the Blue Yeti mic, the Snowball mic. You don't have to. If you're starting out and you don't have an idea, I don't recommend investing that much money in the beginning. I mean, obviously sound is important, and you can work towards the best quality network sound, or you can make it that people are happy to listen to. Because again, most listeners, they want to be able to listen. They don't want to be distracted by sound, but you're a podcaster. As long as they can hear you and they're not distracted, they're good. So if you're starting out, again, if you want to spend the money on that mic, go ahead and do it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's totally up to you. But for those that want to start and maybe funds are a little bit limited, or they want to, you know, you can go to Best Buy. You can go to, do you guys, I don't know if you have Best Buy in the States. You can go and just buy it. Like a Logitech is good. A headset with a built-in mic, USB. Oh, you do? Okay. I wasn't sure if you did. Yeah, you can just go one of those audio places, a place like Best Buy, if you have another one, and just buy one of those headset with built-in mic, USB, just plug it into your computer, and that will give you adequate sound. I mean, make sure you're in a quiet room. You don't have fans going. Be mindful that it will pick up sounds, like even say this. Let me tell you, as an editor, I can hear that. I can hear, you could think that we're not hearing, but we do. So just be mindful of sound, right? So again, you can keep it simple. Even earbuds. I've done shows with earbuds. I mean, pop it into your phone if you're someone that wants to record on the go. As long as you have something, you need something, right? Because you need to focus your sound, right? So that's one thing. You can go, I think those Logitech, I think they're like maybe, I don't know how much they are. I haven't bought one for years. I think they might be like between $25 and $50, which is like half what one of the more expensive ones. So there's that. Does anybody have any questions so far? No? Okay. I'm just gonna take a drink of water real quick. I have my Tim Hortons cup. Can you tell I'm from Canada? Okay. The other thing is recording. So obviously you need to record. So where are you going to record? How are you going to record? Two that I recommend, or maybe I'll just say, since I recommended a hosting platform as Spreaker, I also mentioned that you can record. So you can download their recording. They have like a recording studio, and you can download either your phone app to do that. And they're the only one that does this. It's so beautiful that they've done this, and they do it well. So you can either download it to your laptop, desktop, or on your phone. And so you can use that to record. Now, remember, again, you can do it live, like I said, so you can have live chat. People can come back and leave comments later, just like a Facebook Live, right? They can leave comments later. So you can use Spreaker to record. So it's kind of like all in one. You're getting it all in one. It's your recording device, and then it's also your hosting platform. And a social media where you can follow other people, right? So that's one way you can record. Then there's two others that I like and recommend because they'll record in HD quality. One is Zencastr, and I'll type in, or maybe, no, I can't, my mouse isn't working there. Zencastr, if Lisha, you want to put it in the chat, it's Z or Z for my American friends, ENCASTR, Zencastr.com. Yeah, perfect. And there's a free version, and then there's paid versions. but it's very good quality. It, if you have an editor, it's so easy. You can download the file in MP3 format. So if you have a guest as well, all you got to do is send them the link. There's nothing for your guest to download at all. Now on Spreaker, if you're going to have a guest, it's a little bit trickier for those who aren't tech savvy. That it might be a bit more of a challenge to do it that way. Spreaker is good if you're like a solo, right? Because it can be a little bit trickier to have a guest using them. Zencastr, you can just send the link to your guest, they click on it, and there they are, and you can record with them. Save the file, download it, it's MP3, bam, you're done. That's what you could send to your editor, or what you could save. So Zencastr is awesome. The other one that I love, and you can actually go live with them as well, but we're not going to get into that because we're keeping it simple, is CleanFeed. C-L-E, I don't know if it's E-E, C-L-E-A-N. I'm thinking they might have it E-E-N. CleanFeed. I should have put that. I'm sorry, guys. I should have had that proper. CleanFeed.com. They're a clean feed. They record very well, high quality. Yeah, I think it's the E-A, like clean, like the proper spelling. For some reason, I always think they're like try and be different. And so it's good quality audio. Again, it's very simple. If you are recording with a guest, go check that out. That's another good one, right? So there's some good options there. The other one is if you're a Mac user, there's GarageBand, right? So you can record in GarageBand, download that file to your computer, upload it. If you have an editor like me, then you can upload it to a Google Drive or Dropbox, whatever it is that you use, if you're not doing it yourself. So there's some good options. Now, all of these things, if you have questions about, or if there's something else that you've heard of, like feel free to ask me any questions about it. I'm just trying to give you some simple things and direction for those who have no idea where to go. This is right out. I want to leave you with things that you can take away today and start with, right? So, because there's always more. There's lots of them out there, right? But you could, people tend to get lost in the details and what to pick. So I give you a few to pick from, right? You find what works for you. These are things that all of these I recommend to my own clients. So I'm not recommending anything different here to you. Okay. So you've got the how you're going to record. You're going to pick the hosting platform that you're going to upload those recordings to. You're going to have your cover art done, remember, because you need that, whether it's social media, for anything, your website. You've picked your music. You got your little bit of music. You can make your own recording. You've got all that set. Now, I don't want to get into editing because that's a whole other, we could do a whole other class about editing, right? And again, if you're a business owner, you may not have the time to do that, and you're going to hire that out, right? So when I first started, I didn't do any editing, and my shows were actually live. And so it was like, what I said was there, it was done. I didn't edit. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't really have the time to edit. And I thought, well, this is real, right? Just like with editing, when I edit, I don't edit every out, because we say that's normal talking. We don't edit you to sound like a robot, right? It's natural. It's natural conversation. It's natural the way you talk. Now, if there's a lot of like we all have crutch words, you know, things like that, you know what I mean, right? We all have those. And so excessively, it could make you sound like you're not quite sure what you're talking about. So we will edit a lot of those out. But I didn't have that. When I started, it was like one and done. That was it. But you grow along the way, and you will too. And don't think you need to be perfect, because you're just not going to be perfect out of the gate. You're finding your feet. You're finding your way. It's going to change. Your show's going to change. It's going to evolve, and you're going to evolve, and your audience is going to grow, and you're going to get feedback from them, and you're just going to improve. everybody had to start somewhere. And please don't be afraid to start because you want to be perfect. And please don't compare yourself to people like Joe Rogan or John Lee Dumas, if you even know who they are. You know, they all started somewhere too. We all started somewhere. So just start because you can't get better. You can't improve unless you start, right? So you've got those basic things. Now, what you can do from there is build a trailer. So now you've got these things, you're going to launch. I always recommend have a couple episodes done to launch with. And by launch, I mean you've uploaded them to your hosting platform and you've applied to the distribution sites, meaning you've applied and submitted your podcast to Apple Podcasts, to Spotify, to Stitcher, all those places. So that, and you set the date that you want to launch so that when people go to listen, there's a couple episodes for them to listen to. Now, what I do recommend, you do a little bit of a, like a trailer, right? Look at when there's new shows that come out, new movies that come out. They do trailers and they run them for months before the shows even come out, right? So you can do that. You can help build the excitement, because I am all for you build your audience before, you know, before you even launch. So you can make a little trailer, 2 minutes. It's you, some music in the background, who you are, why you're launching, and you know, what people can expect. And that could sort of be like your trailer. Now, a lot of these hosting platforms, when you upload, they'll ask, is this an episode? Is it a trailer? And you can pick trailer. So they've clued into that now. They're getting really good, these hosting platforms. So you can do that and then share that out, right? You can apply to Apple with that and share that link out on social media so people build the excitement, right? Build the excitement like they do with movies. So you can do that. Doesn't need to be long. Then distribution. So this is what we help our clients with as well. Now, all hosting platforms are linked to these major sites. So it's really easy right through the hosting platforms to apply to all these places: Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all of those. It's like one click. You can go through and apply. So they've got these great relationships with those. So it's not anything that you have to worry about that's difficult. The other thing I want to talk about for launch date is get some close people, some good support people, some business peers that are there to support you, that are willing to, the day that you launch, to share out that to your audience, to share it on social media everywhere, so that you get that good buzz and you've got a core group of people. There's different ways you can launch. Another one is to go live every day on social media, Instagram live or Facebook live, and just go on for 5 minutes and introduce yourself. And I'm going to start a podcast, and this is what we're going to talk about. And this is what I intend to do. And this is what you're going to get from listening to it, right? And then they're seeing it every day, and you're building up and building up. So on the day that you do launch, you already have a bunch of people that are so excited to listen to your first episode. Whereas a lot of people will talk about it and they'll launch and people are like, oh, I didn't really know. I think you mentioned something. I haven't really seen anything, right? So this is why I'm a big believer in you start building your audience before you even launch. Start doing something, right? So any questions? I'm sure you would have put them in the chat if there were. So we've got that. Again, I could go a whole lot more on all of these, but I don't want to leave you too much. I don't want you to be overwhelmed, right? So we've got the online hosting. You've created your cover. You've got your intro, outro music. You've got some people that are going to support you to launch, right? You're going to have your couple episodes. And you're going to upload them to your hosting site. We've got, make sure you keep all of your episodes. You want to keep everything, right? Set up a Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever cloud service you use. If you're going to have an editor, I suggest either Google Drive or Dropbox. That's what most people work with. I work with both with clients, right? Okay, so that's the kind of the tech part. I'm going to briefly help you, and this is where I go much more in depth with clients. I spend a lot of time with them prepping. The other part, the non-tech part, is sort of like the who, what, where, when, and why. And so to leave you with that, who? Like sit down and think about who is your audience? Who are the people that you want to talk to? Who are the people that are going to benefit? Now, if you have a business, chances are you know who your customers are. You know who your clients are. Who are those people? You could be launching a totally different podcast that isn't. Maybe you want to have a different audience, a different set of customers or clients. That's fine. But if you're launching it to build the business you currently have, if that's your focus, then who is that audience? You may know that. So I spend a lot of time with clients as well in preparing them to get to that launch stage. Like, who is your audience? Who are those people? Because it helps you be in the right groups as well, right? The other thing is what are you going to talk about? Like, is it, and what kind of information are you going to share? A brain dump really helps really good on this. That's something else that I give ideas to. Some people don't think something could be a topic. It could be a really good topic. Things can just be stretched right out. So what are you going to talk about? Start making a list of all the topics. And can there be a topic out of that topic, right? Do you want to do theme months? Things like that. Again, how? What's the format? Is it going to be solo? Is it going to be interview? Or are you going to have a mix? Are you going to have a panel once a month? How are you going to do it? Are they going to be really short? Are they going to be 10 minutes? Some podcasts are 10 minutes. There's a great podcast called 12-Minute Convos. And Jill Jones does a fabulous job getting stories from people, and it's 12 minutes. Sometimes they're less than that. So it's really to sit down and figure out what is it? Like, what are you going to, what's the format is what I'm trying to say. So the other thing is when are you going to launch your show? What day of the week? That works with what is a good day for you to record? Are you going to have a day where you're going to record a couple episodes? I always recommend having a few in the can because of life, when life happens, which it always does. You don't want to be stuck and not releasing an episode that week, right? So always have a few prepared. And what day of the week are you going to launch? Think about that and then where are you going to be? Like, where are you going to be on social media? What groups? Where could you feed into? Where could you share it? Are you going to have a group? Are you going to have a Facebook page? Are you just going to run it through your business page you already have? Different things like that. If you have a business, you have a website, I'm sure, and then you can put it on your website there as well. So you got to think about all the different places it could be, right? So important. Couple quick little tips. I know, like, I'm looking at the time thinking I didn't know that I should have known better that I can talk this long about podcasting, but how long would I recommend? You know what? It really varies. The simple answer is however long it takes for you to get your message out. Some podcasts are 3 hours, some are 2, some are 1, some are 10. It really depends on the topic. If you're quite a teaching podcast, you don't want it to be too long because you don't want to overwhelm people with information. It also depends on who your audience is. So this really is something else that I help consult with, is I get an idea of what it is you want to share, who you are, who your audience is. Did they have time to listen to a 2-hour podcast or even an hour or even half an hour, right? So this is something else that I can help with. So it really, really depends. So that's why I would, and again, there is no right or wrong answer. It just really depends. Do you only have time for 10 minutes? Then do 10 minutes. What can you pack in that episode in 10 minutes that you can share? We can all share something of value in 10 minutes, right? Maybe it's the perfect thing for people to start their day. Maybe it's 10 minutes and you're doing a little guided meditation and you're giving them a great resource to go to afterwards, and that's it. And that's huge value. So length doesn't determine value of a podcast. It's whatever works for you and your audience, right? No right or wrong. That's the beauty of podcasting. There is no right or wrong. That's why podcasting started, right? But there's best practices. So, and these are things that I tend to share all the time in my group, best practices, what I've seen, feedback that I see from surveys that are done, things like that. I like to share that because it really gets people thinking and helps with best practices. So I'm not one for rules, so, but I will help with what shows to work well with audiences, right? You want to be educational and you want to be entertaining, because if you just talk like this, and I think that you should go to get this resource, because you might be feeling, oh my God, how long are you going to listen to that? So when you've only got voice and you don't have anything else, you have to have some inflection in your voice. You have to go up, you have to go down, fast, slow. And so you have to make it so it's interesting for people to listen to, so that they can learn from what it is that you're trying to teach. Unless you're a comedy podcast, then you're not really teaching anything, you're just entertaining people, right? But just to kind of keep in mind as you're planning episodes, is it educational? Is it entertaining, right? Just a couple things to think about. Make sure, so I'm just going to go into some quick tips here to think about, because maybe you already have a podcast, so maybe there's some things that you've missed a little bit. The other thing is, make sure, you'll be amazed at the social media profiles I go to, and people that I know have a podcast, and you would have no clue by looking at their profile. They don't have a link to it. They don't say they host it. You can have links like on Facebook, the quick bio, you can link to your show, and it's amazing how people just aren't linked. And that includes your email sign off. If you're a business owner, you have an email signature. So many of them have no link. You wouldn't even know they have a podcast. So go and look at these things and make sure that it's everywhere. You want everybody to know you have a podcast. If you don't have a website and you just want to launch a podcast, and maybe you're hoping it'll be your business one day, you're not doing this to grow your business, I recommend to everybody have a website. Now, it doesn't have to be elaborate. It could be a simple one page, your picture, your graphic, a description of the show, a little bio of you or why you started it, and then a place to embed your player. Now, every hosting platform gives you a code to embed your player. And actually, a lot of them come with a little mini website that has all your episodes. So you could use that as your website. There's a place you can put your headshot or whatever you want to put. So they all kind of incorporate that as well. I really like Captivates. They're really good. So go check that out and you'll see what that's like. So basic websites. The other thing is, I see this a lot. People will share their podcast and they give the Apple podcast link. Oh, that drives me, because not everybody listens to podcasts through Apple. Some people like Spotify. Some people like Stitcher. Some people have an app on their phone and it's just a podcast listening app and they want to subscribe that way. Don't make people listen to your show the way you listen to podcasts or the way you think they should. Let people, that's the beauty of these mini websites and these players that have the links on them, so that let people choose the way they want to subscribe to listening to your show. Don't just provide one link. If you want to do a social media post, direct them to that done for you website that your hosting platform provides, unless you do your own, right? You could do your own one page website, but you could use those hosting platform ones. Direct to them there so they can read a description, so they can learn a little bit more, and let them choose how they want to subscribe to your show, right? So just a tip, if you're going to make a social media post, direct them to that website. Or if you want to list out all the different links in your one post, you can do that as well. But I would just direct them to your website, right? Let them choose. Because if you're building a business, for one, you should be sending them to your website. You're growing your business. You want them to see what you offer. You want them to see what your services are, right? So why would you send them to Apple? Like, why would you do that if you're building a business? You want traffic to your website. And on there, you should have all the different ways that people can subscribe. And there's lots of them. There's so many directories. My clients, I will start them off in 13. I'll subscribe to 13 different distribution platforms for them. And then basically once you're there, you're everywhere, because there's a lot of listening apps that pull from Spotify or Apple. And once you're on there, all the different apps just pull from there, right? So you don't have to apply to a ton of places, but some really good ones. Oh, the last thing is you should end your show, if you're building a business, with a call to action. Tell people what to do at the end of your show. Don't tell them too many things. Tell them, pick a different one each week if you want. It could always just be go to my website to learn more and subscribe, and give them your website. If you've got something special happening, you've got a program happening, and you want to specifically direct them there, then maybe that week you do it. A great way to send people to your website, and it depends again on the type of podcast you have, but sometimes the odd episode that you could set up on your website as blog posts, you could also have a PDF to download. So if people are really interested, you can say, hey, if you want the checklist to what we just talked about today, or if you want to take this quiz for yourself, head over to my website, go to the podcast tab, and download the PDF for yourself. People are going to do that. Or take the quiz, go to my website. You want to send people to your website, right? So that's a few tips, but have fun. You can repurpose this thing into blog posts, into ebooks, into so many different things, little promotional clips. You can cut a clip out. Hosting platforms, they allow you to do that now, where you can just clip out a little part of the show. Maybe there was a really good part, you had a really good line, or your guest had a good line, or there was something funny, or something that you can use as promotional. You can do that on a lot of the clip it out, and a lot of the hosting platforms now to use for promotional. On TikTok or Instagram or wherever, right? So there's just so many things that you can do. And if you're not a writer, I would love to be a writer. I'm just really not, but I could talk, and I've talked a lot. I talked a lot longer than I intended to. But there's so many things you can do with it, but have fun. Just start. Let me tell you, I've had so many podcasts. I've been doing this for so long, and every one has pivoted or evolved in some way, because you don't know what it's going to be like or what your audience is going to want. So, don't get caught up in a lot of these things you see. Have fun. Don't get caught up in numbers. Don't think it has to be a certain way. And I will always be available if you want to ask me questions. I do one-off consultings with people. I help them go through the whole planning and launch of it. You can always reach out to me. I have a group on Facebook that I share tips. You can ask questions in. I am always available. I could talk about podcasting and the benefits of it. Well, you've seen for a long time. So I hope you got something out of this. I know you can. I know you did. I know you can take these things and go start. You're all smart. You are all capable. You can go pick your hosting platform. You could design something or have someone design something. You can pick a little clip of music and you can record. You've got all the things you need that you can go off and do this. I know you can. I know you can. So you can always reach out to me, email me with questions. So if anybody has questions.
Thank you so much.
I talked so much.
You did. I was like, whoa, okay. But there was so much actually to go through. How long do you usually launch? That's my only my top of the mind question.
How long do you launch?
Yeah. You promote a couple weeks, because I'm about to start a new one around my personal coaching, therapeutic business.
Yeah.
So if I got some people on board, made up all my stuff and launched it right, how long is a normal launch before you actually have a podcast out?
I would do no less than I would start a month ahead. Just start letting people know I'm going to launch a podcast. Just start talking about it. I think then when you get down to 2 weeks before, I'd start really getting it out there more. I would create a group chat of people that you can bring on board with you, that you can give them, say, the little blurb to say. You could give them the graphic of it. even, right? Like once you have your graphic for your show, you can give it to them so they have something to share. And then what I did with Grit and Grace is for 5 days in a row, we went live on Facebook for about 15 minutes. And what we did was, was it 5 days? Maybe, yeah, maybe it was about 5 days. We had a quiz. And so every episode, we gave a couple questions. And so our whole point was that by the time we launched, we would give you like the key to it. Like, here's your results. Like, so we're going to tell you, here's your results. We're going to share it with you. And then after that first show, we shared our results. So it made people tune in because, like horoscopes, people are curious about themselves.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. So we shared, so people had to tune in, like everyone. And it was only like 10, 15 minutes. And we shared the question. We talked about it a little bit, our thoughts, and we did it as well. And then so everybody could do the question and pick their answer. And so we launched with the results. Like, if this was your score, here's what it is. And then we shared ours and we discussed it. And then we made it available on our website. If you want to download this, go download this. And then you can do it with other people. So it had, like, by the time we launched, we had such a big audience for launch day. Then, you know, there was excitement had built. We had built the buzz. And so if you can do that yourself, have something that you can share, a quiz or something like that, that you can do for 5 days before and get people excited.
Okay, awesome.
But we did a live stream. Yeah, any questions?
Any questions, Pat?
I hope that was kind of not too confusing, but I had to share that info, and I'm looking at the time going, oh my God, I talked a lot.
Yeah, I know you got to go.
But no, I didn't want to make it too confusing for people, but it's info that just needed to be, it's stuff that you need to know. It's the basics.
Yeah, no, I have great notes. I didn't feel like it was confusing. No, Pat, do you have any questions, or are we good to roll? I'm not hearing from her. You can unmute if you'd like.
Oh, okay. I am unmuted. No, I don't really have any questions. I took a ton of notes, but I did want to give you a little bit of feedback and information about me, just so you know. I have no idea even how I got the information from you, Miss Antiqua. I don't know how I got on your mailing list, but my company is Happy Dragon Travel. I hate that this is being recorded because I don't want it to be about me, but I'm 66.
Oh, it can be about you.
I'm 66 years old. I live in a senior building of about 200 plus residents. I have not started any podcasting, but my website is going to be Not Quite Retired. And I think I have a whole lot of fodder right here in my own building. And
oh, do you ever?
Yeah.
Oh,
so this I really feel special because I'm here by myself. But this has saved me possibly months of trial and error. And you think you talked too much, but you were just perfect and spot on. So just for the future, so you know, and I'm, like I said, I'm 66 and thank God still with a good mind and active, etc. But podcasting could even be for people who are not physically able to do other things. And I have people here in wheelchairs, etc.
Yeah.
You have really given me so much inspiration today for my future. It's going to be fun, like you said.
Yay, Pat, you make it worth it. This is why
yes, totally.
You are so special. Yay.
Thank you. I just wish I looked a little better today, but I don't.
That don't matter. That's the beauty of podcasting.
That's why we're podcasting.
Podcasting.
That's right.
Well, I cannot wait to hear your show, Pat. Make sure to post it on Facebook on our Your Own University groups and our Your Own University page, and send me a message and I'll share it for sure. And yeah, that's so great because yes, you have a demographic that Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you
my
so
brain is just racing in the
I
ideas
bet
of
it
things you could be doing.
I'm like, you have 200 like active.
Well, we have 200 people in the building. Everybody's not active, but
Yeah.
most of the people I even know, because when I first moved here, when I was only 59, I started writing down names and little things about the people so I'd remember everybody and I can talk to everybody
Oh,
by name.
you are made to podcast. Oh my God.
Yeah,
So
I was just gonna say you have your audience built in, your
Yes.
audience built in there.
You have
This
your
has
guests too.
amazing. Yes, guests. Oh, because these people have been
Stories. They have
veterans,
stories.
they've been waitresses, they've been so many things, and probably even some underworld people, but they probably won't
Yeah.
never know. They've been everything.
Oh.
Seniors are amazing.
Oh, yes. Oh my God, the things you could do. Like, please, oh my God, if you have questions, like, let me know. You can email me. My email is Ms. MS and my name, Ms. Lynn Burnett at gmail.com. You have a fabulous way to, you could interview these people. You know, one of the most very successful blogs that started was the Humans of New York. That was a photographer that started that, and it was just a simple blog. He just talked to regular people on the streets of New York. He took their picture, he asked them their story, he started sharing it. It has grown to millions of fans and books that have been published from it. People like stories, and those people have stories where you are.
Yes, yes. I am very excited, and I thank
Me
you
too. I have
both.
goosebumps for you.
Yeah, I thank you both for the extra inspiration. I'm already inspired, but sometimes it's just good to hear what you can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Pat. That is so wonderful. I love it when we like instantly do good, Lynn. When
I
it's
know.
It just makes
know.
me so happy.
Yeah.
All right.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thank
Anything
you.
else? We know how to get a hold of you. What your website? All of that is in the classroom too.
Yeah, people can check that out. Yeah, soundmachine.fm. They can have a listen to our station. Sundays we have cocktails with the crooners. So we've got, you know, old Blue Eyes singing tunes and Dean Martin and all that. So we've got a good mix of music. We got some classic rock. We've got dance. And you can reach me through there or my email, which is mslynnburnett@gmail.com. I'm available to answer any questions. And yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, everybody. Bye.